We had not talked to you since you made a coaching change to your staff. And looking back at that situation, I'm sure it's not something you anticipated. Is there anything you could have done differently to kind of patch this together? And, what is it, how unsettling was this whole thing for you?
Yeah, I'd just say, listen, on the entire situation, I've made this clear from day one. I'm always going to make every decision and what I see as best for the team. This decision was no different. Look, there's been a lot of information out there, a lot of misinformation, and a lot of people have done a lot of digging trying to find out details of the situation. I'm not going to rehash any of that. I just say in the whole thing, we wish Mark luck going forward, and the decision we made was in the best interest of the New York Giants, short and long term.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, as far as bringing in Dave, how much different are the techniques that he teaches compared to what, Mark's been teaching for the past, however many months? And can you implement those in such a short period of time?
Yeah, we're not going to do anything to turn the offense upside down right here, but we're going to continue to focus on technique and assignments and principles, what we want to do big picture-wise. There'll be some adjustments here and there as we go. With 6 weeks left in the season, there's going to be a lot of continuity we're looking to keep, in place and keep improving as we go through the rest of the season, Dan. But, will there be adjustments as needed throughout the season? Yes. Are we going to look to turn everyone upside down? No.
And then one more thing on Dave. He kind of has a abrasive personality, but for lack of a better term. Are you concerned at all with how the offensive line room is going to respond to a new voice like that coming in at this point?
No.
Levy?
Hey, Joe. I'm wondering how that affects, if at all, your relationship with Jason Garrett, because obviously Jason and Mark are close, and Jason obviously recommended Mark to you for the job. So I'm wondering how you firing Mark affects you and Jason.
No, look, we're all professionals here. We all have one goal in improving the team. Obviously, we've been working through a season. There's a lot of new guys coming from different spots. We're all New York Giants now. We're all working towards the same goal. So there's been no effects really to that nature right there. I feel good about going forward with everybody.
There was a report out there somewhere that your offensive linemen were a little, on edge about the change. Have you talked to them at all? I know there was an elongated bye week. Did you talk to them at all Wednesday, Thursday when you made this move, or is today the first time you've addressed them about it?
No, I've spoken to the entire team last week. I spoke with the offensive line. I spoke with the captains. I spoke with people both individually and collectively based on the units. So, again, we're pretty transparent as an organization. Something happens with the team, we keep it in-house, but I speak very openly with the team about it.
Zach?
Hey, Joe. I know part of the reporting had to do with you getting in and practice and kind of coaching up the offensive lineman yourself a little bit. I'm just curious, how common is that for you in general? Do you do that around the team? Will you go in and interject and coach up guys in the way you think they should be coached, kind of thing?
Yeah, I have no problem at any point in any position, stepping in and talking to a position. That being said, I let my coaches coach. I'm not going to comment too much further on the base of the question you're asking. Again, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there as well, but I'm going to keep most things in-house.
A few of your players tested positive for COVID since we last saw you. I'm just curious if you got any updates on if they have a chance of playing on Sunday or what the deal is there.
So a couple of the guys will not, based on just the timetable the league puts us in. There's going to be a couple other guys who will have an opportunity. Now, just because the timetable allows for them to have the opportunity, we still have to go through the week and the progression of where they are physically, how they handle the ramp-up period, if the doctor clears them, all that good stuff there. So the answer is yes and no. Some will have an opportunity to play, some will not.
Jordan?
Joe, you talked about misinformation a couple of times. Is there anything you would like to get out there and clear up?
No, I think there's some common sense to people who want to read articles, understand what does and doesn't actually happen within a professional setting, an office building. I'm not going to go out and rehash a lot of different things that were out there, Jordan. This was a professional move. We made the decision that was best for the team.
Was there something, were you happy with the coaching, or how happy were you with the coaching in regards to technique that your offensive line was receiving?
Yeah, Jordan, I appreciate the question. Again, I'm going to keep most of that stuff in-house in terms of how we handle things. Obviously, we made a move, and we're all working that direction.
And have you been around a situation kind of like this where you had to move on from a coach in the middle of the season? And how would you describe what the transition is supposed to be like in that situation?
I think everything's different based on the team and the situation that it occurs under. Yes, I have been around moves as a player and as a coach where there's been transitions in season. I think the biggest thing I want to understand is just keep on moving within the direction of the head coach. trust there's a plan in place.
Lombardo.
Hey, Joe, just kind of wanted to piggyback off that a little bit. At some point, you brought in Dave G as kind of a consultant with the offensive line. Was there something that you saw that made you want to go in that direction and bring in another voice?
Yeah, look, I'm always looking to do anything that's going to help the team at any point in the year. So the decision I made was in the best interest of the team, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
What does he bring to the group, and why were you excited to hire him in particular?
Yeah, he brings some experience in this league. He's done a good job. He's coached some of the guys that are on the team already. He's worked with a number of guys that are on staff already. There's a level of experience that carries over, and that's great, but all that really matters now is how each one of us coaches individually and how he coaches now he's with the New York Giants. So I'm excited to have him on staff with us moving forward, and, obviously we're shifting all of our focus in Cincinnati right now.
Pat Leonard.
Joe, hey, how you doing? Some of the reporting kind of looks like it's kind of pigeonholing you together with guys you coached with in New England as Judge and his former Patriots assistants, et cetera. Is it alarming for you to see someone accusing you and your staff of functioning in that way, like for lack of a better word, like a cliquey way? And is that one of the inaccuracies you're discussing, or how do you feel about that characterization?
Yeah, look, I've said the entire time I've been here, I'm not interested in any other program that I've ever been a part of. I'm interested in New York Giants. Everyone here has worked for somewhere else at some point in time. Every player has played somewhere at some point in time. All that matters is what we do for the New York Giants from this point forward, and that's all we care about. That being said, if you look at the bios of my staff, you're going to see a lot of pieces connected through different places prior to coming here. The notion that we're concerned about anywhere else we've been or that we base anything based on where we've been, everyone has experiences you draw on. That would be it. But there's no internal division or struggle or anything that's being referenced right there. Anyone's trying to create. That couldn't be further from the truth.
You've been talking about sudden change and adapting from the beginning since you got the job, really. How has your schedule kind of been forced to adjust from the initial test with Graham next Monday? I mean, the way you guys have had to operate the last week or so, now not getting back on the field collectively until Wednesday. What have you done, or what will you do to make sure that this team is ready to come off a bye and essentially have 3.5 days on the field before you go play Cincinnati?
Yeah, like you said, sudden change is always an emphasis for us. That's on and off the field. And I think if you kind of live in that world of sudden change, it makes all these adjustments you have to make along the way become kind of normal. We've really kind of dug our heels in from the beginning of the year that whatever comes our way, we're going to handle and we're going to thrive in adjustment. Last week, obviously, we had plans to go on the field for Tuesday and Wednesday. That was changed with the news of a positive test. We got further news last week that kind of altered some of our plans for today, but we've taken all the precautions necessary. We've met virtually instead of in person. We'll continue to meet virtually throughout the remainder of this week instead of in person. We'll do walkthroughs and practices with all the protocols being met. We'll stay outside as much as we can, obviously, even during the walkthrough sessions, what we're doing to make sure it's open air, improve the ventilation. We're going to work in some smaller group pods a little bit in terms of the entire team being together, try and chop it up and keep guys spaced out. But, this has kind of just become normal for us, and our guys understand that whether it's on or off the field, we have plans to do something, but sudden change happens, we just go ahead and we thrive in that.
Can I quickly ask you about McKinney and Zimenez, who you guys have designated to return? Are they close enough where they're a possibility for Sunday, or is the shortened week, not being on the field altogether, going to compromise your decision-making in terms of that?
No, I think both have a chance for Sunday. Now, today was the first day getting them both back out there. I'd say both moved well. Both were really flying around the field today doing what we had to do, but it was mostly individual type work today. When we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, kind of see them in more team setting. Wednesday, we'll have the pads on, see them pop the pads a little bit and see how their bodies respond to it. That'll really tell the story for the weekend. I don't want to rule anybody out in that nature. I thought both guys really came back, did a great job rehabbing with the trainers, the physical therapists, and both guys moved around well today. I always want to be fair to the player and put them in a team setting before we go ahead and try to rule them in or out for a game. But I'd say based on today, they would have a chance. We just have to see where they are when we get in team settings.
Is it different with McKinney because he's a rookie and he hasn't had any game experience?
No, I think whatever role we'd select to play him in, it doesn't have to be, all or nothing. We can minimize his role a little bit and kind of get him in. Again, this is a guy that hasn't had any experience on the field in a game setting this week. So to me, in terms of him being a rookie, I'm still just looking physically, how's he moving around, and are we being fair to him and whatever we ask him to do, that he can go out there and be successful in doing that.